boy, and he lived in a little village, and he got on with people very, very well. But something was happening, and people couldn't leave home as much as they wanted to. And the little boy tried to find things that would keep him busy and not worry about what was happening. So it came to a Friday. He'd read all of his storybooks, he'd played all of his games, made all of his puzzles, cleaned his room up. That's a bit of a surprise even for him. But now he had nothing to do. So he went to find his mother to see if she had a good idea about what might happen next. So he went into the lounge room and found his mother, who was sitting quietly reading a book. And he said, "Mum, I've played with all of my toys. I've read all my storybooks. I don't know what else to do." And she said, "Let me think." And she went quiet for a minute, and then Mum came up with a brilliant idea. She said, "I think you need to go and find something for me. I think you need to take a careful walk down the street and see if you can find me a special kind of house. The house needs to have a red colour on it, but the house can't have any doors, can't have any windows, and there needs to be a special star inside it." The little boy went, "Right, red house with no doors, no windows, but a star inside. I wonder if I'm going to be able to find it." So he said goodbye to his mother, and he went out the front door and he started to walk down the main street of his village. And before very long, he came across a little girl that he knew, and he said, "Hi, how are you?" He said, "Guess what? I've played with all of my toys. I've read all of my storybooks. So now my mum's got me trying to find a kind of house, and I wonder if you've seen it." So the little girl said, "Well, tell me what you're looking for, and I'll see if I can think of something." So the little boy said, "Well, I have to find a red house with no doors, no windows, and a star inside." And the little girl thought, "I know that there's a red house down the street, but I'm pretty sure it's got doors and windows, but I don't think there's a star there. I think you might need to go and ask my dad. He's in the garden just over there, and my dad knows lots and lots of things." So the little boy thanked the little girl, and he went to go and find her father. And he said, "Hi, Mr. Jones, how are you? I have played with all of my toys. I've read all of my storybooks, and so now my mum's given me a special job to do. I need to find a house. The house has to have a red colour. It can't have any doors. It can't have any windows, but it has to have a star that I can find inside it. Do you know where I can find that?" And Mr. Jones, he thought and he thought and he thought. And he said, "Well, I know where there's a greenhouse, but I don't know about a red house. So maybe I think you need to go and find Granny Smith, who lives up the hill." So the hill wasn't very steep and the hill wasn't very far away. So the little boy thanked Mr. Jones, and he went to go and find Granny Smith. So as he walked, he could see that it was a beautiful sunny day. He could see that the birds were singing, and we could hear the birds were singing, and he could see all of the insects flying around having a lovely time with the flowers. And he climbed up the hill, and he knocked on Granny Smith's door, and when Granny Smith opened the door, he said, "Granny, I need your help. I've played with all of my toys. I've read all of my books, and my mum has set me a special job that I have to do. Do you think you can help me? I need to find a red house with no doors, no windows, but has a star inside." Granny Smith thought, and she thought, and she thought, and when she'd finished thinking, she said very carefully, "That's a fantastic job for Mum to give you, but I can only think of a brown house But again, I'm pretty sure it's got some windows and it's got some big doors on it as well. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a star inside. I'm so sorry, I don't think I'm going to be able to help you today. So the little boy thanked Granny and he walked back home. So he walked back down the hill. He walked past Mr. Jones and he walked past the little girl and he got back to his house and he went inside. And this is where Joe quickly gets this out for us because I'm trying not to make too much of a mess. And he went inside his house and he said, "Mum, I'm back, but I haven't found what it was that I needed to find for you. I can't see. I saw a red house, but it had doors and windows. And I asked the little girl down the street, and I asked her daddy, and I even asked Granny Smooth, who lives on top of the hill. And they could tell me about all sorts of different colour houses, but unfortunately, not a red house without doors, without windows, and a star inside." And Mum said, "Thank you so much for trying." And she went into the kitchen and she said, "I think I can help work this out for you. Would you like to come and see?" So she went into the kitchen and she got an apple out of the fruit bowl. So can you see, guys, my apple is nice and red. Does it have any doors? I'm going to turn this around. I can't see any doors on there. Okay, so we found maybe a red house, no doors, and I can't see any windows. Where do you think the star is? Good question. Well, guess what? The little boy asked his mum, "Mum, that's beautiful. A red house, no doors, no windows. But where's the star?" Mum said, "Just 1 minute," and she very carefully picked up a knife and she cut the apple in half. And when she held it up to show him, can you see inside the apple, guys? Guess what? There's the star. Isn't that cool? So the little boy was so excited because he'd finally worked out where the house was red, no doors, no windows, but there was the star inside. He said, "Oh, Mum, thank you so much." He said, "That was a great job." She said, "Okay, if I have something to eat?" And she said, "Of course." And so she very carefully cut that apple up and they had a lovely afternoon tea. So there you go, guys.